White Hart Lane, a full house of 46,000 for Spurs against Manchester City, and in that crowd, two very proud parents. Mr. and Mrs. David Dick, down from Stirling in Scotland for a very important reason, to see their 16-year-old son Alistair play his first game in the Tottenham first team. And there is Alistair Dick, the former Scottish schoolboy international, the second youngest player to play in the Tottenham first team. Neil McGabb stays the youngest by a couple of days, 16 years old. So you can be sure he's keen enough to play today. Meanwhile, Manchester City's Nicky Reed, he had doubts about whether he wanted to play in midfield today. He had a dispute this week with manager John Bond because he prefers to play in the back four, but in fact he takes one of the midfield places today. At any rate, here's the Spurs team, still without Ricky Villa, who's now one match away from being fit after a hamstring injury, without Tony Galvin suspended, but with Steve Archibald starting the game after two substitute appearances and following 9 weeks out of action with an ankle injury. So he and Garth Brooks get together again. As for Manchester City, they've solved the Nicky Reed problem, and yesterday were able to pass Kevin Bond fit after some trouble with a thigh strain, so he's in the back four. Up front, Trevor Francis is hitting his best form, and proof of that is that he's scored 6 times in the last 7 games. The referee today is Alf Gray from Great Yarmouth. So Crooks and Archibald, the old combination, are together again, getting Spurs underway, attacking the goal to our left, and a terrible misunderstanding allowing John Ryan to come in for Manchester City. Spurs in white, City in the all light blue strip. Curious misunderstanding there in the opening seconds as McDonald plants it in again, and a misunderstanding there again between Clementson, a defender, and it gave Francis a chance to get in for a moment. Oh, 2 uncharacteristic errors there by a Spurs defence that's conceded only 3 goals in the last 11 games. Clementson and Paul Price getting themselves in a bit of a muddle. But Spurs unbeaten in their last 11. Archibald hitting that on, the crowd enjoyed that. Very pleased to see him back, and the first little touch for young Alistair Dick, and a goal kick given. He's played well with a lot of confidence in the Tottenham reserve side, and Keith Birkinshaw saying, well, it's a gamble, but it's one I'm prepared to take. Miller beating Francis. And Alistair Dick not making any progress there, but it's Houghton taking Tottenham's throw. Miller. Brooks. Hoddle beaten by Caton. Oh, spinning furiously there. Right in front of Houghton. I think it was waiting for it to finish its work, but wasn't allowed the time. Miller and Archibald. A good ball there from Paul Miller. Hoddle, a lovely one from him, finding Perriman, played inside towards Crooks, but Caton again barring the way for Manchester City. Hartford. Now the ball's out. Crooks. Archibald. Bit of pace there. Bit of the old style. And the good style too of Corrigan as he pushed that one away. But a lot of pace from Archibald. And a nice touch from Crooks that set him on his way. And a good save by Corrigan. A Tottenham throw. Archibald. And a nice cross that by Dick towards Hoddle. And Archibald! Straight into the arms of Corrigan, and I think Steve Archibald might feel that he could have done a little better with that. Started, let me add straight away with that cross by Alistair Dick. Hoddle heading it in. Archibald arriving perfectly there, but guiding it straight at the keeper. Here comes City. And it's Nicky Reed making that break from midfield. And indeed finding Reeves. And a cross going onto the far side, and Francis arriving late. The angle was too fine for him, but it was a desperately run-close thing for Tottenham. Once Reeves had crossed it in, and Francis into the side netting. Ardiles. Hazard. Bubble. No, there was a foul. Francis taking that from Power's header. Now Paul Power again. And Francis again. Austin again. Reeves hoping to get something on the turn here. Hartford. Straight at Clements. Grabbed at the second attempt. Reeves doing some good work here, and it really was a fair chance there for Asa Hartford. Crooks now trying to get kick on his way. Goal kick. Well, they're certainly pulling in the crowds these days at Tottenham. Newton. Brooks getting rid of Bond. That might fall for Archibald. No penalty. The referee looked. I must say, that looked very near a penalty to me. The first indication I had, and of course the referee only gets one as well. Archibald went flying in the box. No, the referee was right. And again, Crooks trying to get free, but beaten in the air by Bond. Hoddle. Crooks once more. Hoddle trying to take it off him and go right the way through. Hoddle! And he hits it straight at Corrigan. Corrigan refused to allow any sort of gap between himself and the near post, and Hoddle really positive though, and comes back off the keeper. Tottenham bench with the Spurs manager Keith Birkinshaw in the sheepskin coat. Hoddle. Handball, but it was an accident. It was a good advantage in any case. Hazard playing it on for Crooks. Against the crossbar, and away by McDonald. A lovely flowing move by Tottenham, and the referee quite right not to pull that back for handball. Hazard on his way, a lovely pass through for Crooks, who took it in his stride. Corrigan was beaten, but not the crossbar. And a lot of people looked outside, finding it very difficult to get a view, and in fact the police are escorting people around the edge of the ground and putting them into the terraces where there is a little bit of room. Inside the last minute, imagine Alf Gray will want to add a few seconds. And a couple of injuries in the first half. Price. Reeves. And now Hazard. Crooks. Backheel didn't quite work. City closed in quickly, and here's Paul Power. Francis nodding it on for Power, who's got Reeves, a chance for him. Oh, and a chance that was badly missed. Well, there was a lot of space there for Kevin Reeves, and he really should have made better use of it. But instead of that, it's Ardiles, and Ray Ranson banging it into touch. Paul Power turning it in, and just look at the space there was here. Look at it. Amazing, just outside the box, and he clipped the ground instead of the ball. Played a minute of time added on, and that's the end of the first half, where certainly Kevin Reeves right at the end missed what was a very good chance for Manchester City, Garth Crooks having hit the crossbar for Spurs. But a lot of good attacking football, and I think plenty to look forward to in the second half as well, with a half-time score here at White Hart Lane. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Manchester City 0. And we'll be back with the second half. So 0-0 as we go into the second half, with Manchester City now attacking the goal to our left. Francis. Sides, of course, who played in the final at Wembley. Spurs winning on a replay. Reeves and Houghton putting it behind for the corner. And they've met this season as well. Spurs winning by a goal to 0 up at Main Road in September. And Mark Falco scored the only goal when he was in a tremendous run of goals. So Francis waits at the far post with Ray Clements there as Paul Power takes the corner for Manchester City. And right across the face of that Tottenham goal as Bobby MacDonald got right in there. And we should see from this MacDonald getting in very well there and catching Spurs out by arriving so late. And now Pereira. Ardiles. Hazard. Crooks. Ardiles again. Archibald. Hazard. And they claim the corner, and quite properly they get it. Mike Hazard. It's a good example of the way the squad system's working here at Tottenham. He's fitted in so well when he's required to fit in this season. In fact, you could say he really has been the find of the season for Tottenham. But it's stick at the moment. And Hobble. Oh, off the line by Asa Hartford. And another corner. Well, it was Dick's corner. Just got away by Hartford for this corner here, which Hobble will take. Miller's up on the edge of the penalty area. Big man they might be aiming for. That's Price, and now Miller with his header, and Archibald trying to get it on the turn. Huddle. Just a marginal mistake there by Huddle, and he's trying to correct it. He's trying to correct it again. Oh, in the end, Nicky Reed with the shot. But, well, Clements, his concentration was good. He's had not a lot to do. And he just clipped that one away, and two England teammates there just having a quiet word. And Clements tipping that shot away well. So it's a corner, which Power will take. Bond trying to get the head in. Price got it away. Hazard then. Hartford trying to set up something on again. Reeves, and that time it was Perriman who got it away as far as Dick. Trying to release Hazard. But Ransom dinking it back once more. And a Again, Clements quickly off his line to spot the danger as Kevin Reeves came in. Ransom. And a foul by Houghton, who obstructed the City fullback as he came forward. A free kick to Manchester City. Ray Ransom with the free kick. Chipped towards Francis. Price. Now Ardiles. Miller. The crowd just for a moment was getting a little anxious because Spurs seem to be playing a rather curious game there in and around the own penalty area. And at the moment there's no margin for error for the home side, with the score still at 0-0. Oh, but a pass from Hoddle. Will it send Crooks on his way, tumbling down, and a penalty given, I think. A penalty given for the foul on Garth Crooks. No, it's a free kick. Penalty. They thought for a moment it was a free kick. But it's clear that Alf Gray has given a penalty, and look at the protest there from the Manchester City players. Well, it was a ball played forward by Hoddle. Here's Crooks. He had trouble gathering it up, and it looked a bit harsh. And in fact, they're going across to the linesman, and he was nodding his head. He agrees it's a penalty. So far as the officials are concerned, justice is seen to be done. I think our slow motion suggests that it was a bit iffy. But Hoddle, who has scored 5 times this season, 3 from the penalty spot. Hoddle with a chance to put Spurs into the lead, and he does so. Superb penalty taker Hoddle, and Corrigan little chance going the wrong way, and Spurs into the lead. Francis. Well, I think it certainly will go down as a very debatable penalty, but the referee's indication was clear, and he took a word from the linesman as well. The question really was also whether the challenge was inside the penalty area, and whether in fact it was a clear challenge worthy of a penalty. Well, things are warming up now. Power on Ardiles, and Power's name will go into the book. Challenge and the book, and a free kick for Tottenham. Caton. Ardiles. Oh, what a good ball here for Alistair Dick, the 16-year-old. Into the City penalty area. Can he turn it back? He can't, but he gets a corner. So Tottenham's corner. Hazard with it. Corrigan's catching just behind Paul Price. Ryan, Francis offside.
McDonald. Ardiles. It's Power. McDonald. Oh, a chance maybe for Reeves. No, the ball just wouldn't run for him. Ardiles with a chance to lift it away and find Archibald. Here's Crooks. Oh, and a nice ball played by Crooks for Archibald, going all the way. And in the end, it falls for Corrigan. But a lovely example of the way these two work together. Francis. And Ardiles is so often stuck close to Francis in midfield areas and has just nicked balls away from him time and time again. Here's Francis again, caught from behind that time by Perman. And Francis reacted strongly to that. He knows what Achilles tendons are all about. Caught one terrible moment that Perman had caught him there. Reed having it charged down by Hazard. Archibald going across to the far side to collect. Being chased now by Ransom. Got past him, and he's got three waiting in the middle, including Crooks, who's in space on this side of the penalty area, and Hazard, who's in there. And Hazard applauding the work of Archibald. And indeed, it was a fine run. And a well-placed ball inside as it happens. Spotting Hazard, the space, but always on the up for the number 5. Newton. Skipping past the City defenders at the moment. Alistair Dick. Oh, he's got a corner. Off John Ryan. And I think Hazard might go across to take it, unless it's a short one taken by Dick for Hazard. No, Dick's taking it. We saw Ardiles free. And now Hoddle. Not so free. Oh, a magnificent goal! Applauding in the stands, old and young. That was an unbelievable goal. Well, thousands were hanging around outside, wondering if they'd get in time, and if they did, the wait was all worthwhile. Ardiles playing it for Hoddle. There seemed to be no space for him, but my word, he cracked it just under that crossbar. 2-0. Was an absolutely masterful goal, because it looked as though there was no chance for him, but there was just that yard, and he struck it absolutely to perfection. McDonald. Offside. And Spurs making a substitution. They're taking off 16-year-old Alistair Dick, and he's getting a very warm round of applause from the crowd. His parents are at the back there. Mum's just realised that her son is going off. Well, and the father adds his applause as well. What a proud couple of parents they must be. Yeah, quite a moment. And so it's Graham Roberts who comes on. Crooks sending Archibald on his way. Houghton has gone through the middle for him as well, up from the back. And Crooks, oh, and a great save by Corrigan. Yes, he may well signal his thanks. It was another great run by Archibald. And a terrific strike by Crooks, and a fine piece of goalkeeping by Corrigan. Here's Trevor Francis. Archibald in for Houghton, up from the back. Houghton getting to the byline, pulls it back for Crooks. It must be 3. It's not. It's saved by Corrigan. Brilliant play by Chris Houghton for Tottenham. Made such a long run and played the perfect ball in for Garth Crooks. But Corrigan tipped it away as the final whistle goes. Well, there may have been a debate about the first goal, the penalty scored by Glenn Hoddle when Garth Crooks was brought down. There was no doubt whatsoever about the second one. A truly superb goal, beautifully struck by Spurs number 10. And that's the moment, I think, that the Spurs fans will leave White Hart Lane today talking about, and talking about for some time to come. Tremendous ovation, in fact, the Spurs crowd are getting, the Spurs team are getting from the crowd all around the ground. Not least for the man wearing the number 10 shirt. Final score at White Hart Lane. It's Tottenham Hotspur 2, Manchester City 0. So Spurs win, and their manager Keith Birkinshaw admitted that the penalty award in the second half looked dubious, but it proved, he said, to be the bit of luck we needed. Manchester City's John Bond is also convinced that it was the turning point in the whole game.
I don't think there's any doubts about that. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, I wouldn't wish that to come over on the air as an excuse, because I think from that moment onwards we were lucky not to get beat 5. But that was the sort of spur that Tottenham needed. I mean, they got a right dicky penalty as far as I'm concerned, and from there they controlled the game and ran it, and should have scored more goals, obviously, from there.
You weren't that impressed with them up to that point?
Well, I was quite impressed with them, but you know, there's always got to be a bit dicky playing against them with their abilities and their skills. The more
it's your son Kevin Bond coming in.
Well, yeah, but
if you look at the last bit of that again, I think what people might say in defence of referees, that maybe he ran at the player.
Oh yeah, look, he's now tripping now and there's nobody near him. Look, he's now tripping. The ball is behind and he's fell over. If that's a penalty, well, I might as well pack the game up. If that's a penalty, I just might as well pack the game up, because I've got no chance. If decisions like that are going to be given, he's behind the ball, the linesman didn't give it. He's behind the ball, the referee. He can't see, he's not in line with the thing, and he points and he gives a penalty. Saves him up for us.
Yeah, the linesman, in fact, did go across. The referee went across to the linesman and had a word with him, John, didn't he?
How long have you been doing the game now? What do they go? They go across and ask them what they're going to have for supper tonight, don't they? Come on, don't ask me those sort of questions. You know full well what they do. They go across to the linesman. That wouldn't matter if he said that was outside the box. He'd say a penalty. I can't, I'm not, if you go throughout football, Brian, if you go anywhere in football and ask them that question now, in that situation, the referee will go across. There was only been one brave enough to do it, and that was the fellow from Clive Thomas, to change his mind. You've got to be brave men to change your mind, you know.
So you were unhappy about the penalty?
Unhappy? The more, when I see that again, I've got to be unhappy, haven't I?
But the second goal, of course, was...
That's Glenn Hoddle, isn't it? That's the greatness of the boy. He's fabulous. The fella plays balls that no other person in England can play, or no other person in England sees. He's in a different world. I mean, the thing about Glenn Hoddle is that if he was a Brazilian, he'd play every game. They may drop him and leave him out for different for reasons, that if they're playing against different sides. But overall, they would pick him simply because he is that good. I mean, I don't want to be seen on television to do Ron Greenwood's job, but after saying all of that, every football club of any note in the country would have Glenn Hoddle in their side because he's that great.
Well, John Bond with some really outspoken comments after the match, but I think there is a growing feeling that he's right about Glenn Hoddle. But how is it that Hoddle plays so well for Spurs but can't quite do it for England?
I think the two they complement each other. I think if I was to play one game for England and then probably miss 3 and play again, you'd never see the best of me, and if I played till I was 30. So I think that corresponds with the fact that any player return, I think even Kevin had a bit of a struggle when he first came into the side, and it is a big jump, and I just hope that I get a chance to establish myself. But,
yeah, and then a run of games, you mean?
Yes, yeah. I mean, I've got to earn the right to do that, and if I do get the chance, it's down to me. But it's difficult when you sort of you're left out of the side again, and when you do come back, it feels as if you're making your debut all over again, which puts a lot more extra pressure on you. So, you know, I don't feel I've really played, I think I've had one real bad game, and that was against Norway. But I haven't played to the full potential that I know that, with the ability that I've got, that, I haven't played to my full potential. But I think that corresponds with getting a run in the side. But as I say, it's difficult for the manager because he's never going to be right. Everyone wants to pick their own side, so I just keep my fingers crossed.
Well, we'll have to wait and see if Hoddle gets the nod from Ron Greenwood for Tuesday's match against Northern Ireland at Wembley. But somebody who's already got the nod is Steve Archibald. I must say he looked so good yesterday after his layoff, and Jock Stein has called Steve into the Scottish squad for Wednesday's match against Spain in Valencia. More international news after the break from Jim, when we also have Norwich City against Chelsea, Liverpool against Coventry.